And welcome back. Thanks for watching Morning Live. And as promised, a big focus on education-related matters this morning. Now, the Department of Basic Education has made the decision to only allow grades R, 6 and 11 back at school on Monday. Now, initially, grades 1, 2, 3, 6, 10 and 11, along with grade R, were all supposed to return. The reopening of schools has become such a contentious issue. Some unions saying the Department of Basic Education is simply not ready in terms of all the safety precautions that need to be in place. And this as COVID-19 infections are on a rapid increase on a daily basis. And this morning we have a panel of experts with us, and they are Professor Mary Metcalfe, who's an education expert, and the chairperson of the National Association of School Governing Bodies, will also be with us. Elijah Mhlanga is the spokesperson for the Department of Basic Education. And we have Thompson, the president of the National Teachers Union, NATU, Matakanye, the chair of the National Association of School Governing Bodies, and Andre du Bruyn is from the Educators Union of South Africa, EUSA. Well, thank you so much and welcome all of you to this morning's discussion, a very, very important one. But I must also just indicate that the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SATU, and the National Professional Teachers Union, NAPTOSA, were also invited, but both declined, saying that they did not want to share a platform with the Education Union of South Africa, EUSA, as they don't recognize EUSA. So just important to put that out there so that you understand why they are not part of the panel discussion this morning. But let's begin with the conversation with a very quick comment from each one of our panelists as to whether the Department of Basic Education should or should not have schools of any sort open at this point, given the rapid increase of COVID-19 infections that we are currently seeing in the country. And I'm just going to give each one of you basically just 30 seconds, starting with you, Professor Metcalfe, just to give us your view on what's going on right now and whether we should actually be returning to school. Prof?
Schools should open if they have the safety procedures in place across the country, if they have the necessary resources, because this is important for children and important for the children who are poor in particular. There are many advantages for children to return to school on condition the schools are safe.
Thompson.
Well, good morning and good morning to the viewers. I think it's very important to indicate that as trade unions have been saying this, we are ready to teach learners under the safe conditions. We are ready to teach learners when everything that we have agreed upon with the Department of Basic Education has been put in place. But right now we have very serious challenges of shortage of floor space, a problem of failure to supply the mask in other areas, problem of water, problem of sanitation. All those are the critical issues which make us very hesitant to accept that the Department of Basic Education is ready to accept learners coming Monday.
And then let's hear from Andre du Bruyn.
Good morning once again, Sakina. And allow me to thank you and Morning Live for recognizing me and us. Also for Alan, who is also a union like us and is here on the show with us, also Professor Mary, everybody else that I greeted. You see, the question or the stance from EUSA side was that we should never have open schools while the infection rate was still on the rise. And now when it's rising rapidly, our stance cannot change because we can ask each other, what about the safety procedures that Alan was also mentioning? You see, what is safe? I don't think anything out there is safe at this stage. And our stance is simply wait till we've already reached our peak, and when there's a flattening of the curve, and then we can gradually, increase the grades at school. Because a curriculum is not set in stone. The curriculum is something that we can modify according to our needs. And we are just worried that, like Alan said last time, that schools will become hotspots for infections. So that is our stance. We think all schools should be closed at this time until it is, let's call it, safer for us to open.
Well, we still don't have Matakanye with us, so I'm going to move on to Mr. Elijah Mhlanga from the Department of Basic Education. Mr. Mhlanga, it's clear that the department is basically of the view that schools should reopen. But why has the Department of Basic Education decided to reopen schools now only for grades R6 and 11?
Well, it is because of the... We have been consulting, we have been listening, and we have also been reading reports which have been done in various places, including our consortium, which the minister appointed a month and a half ago to do the work of verifying the information that is coming through from provinces in terms of the state of readiness. So we had to look at all the factors that impact on the work that we do and whether we were ready to receive all the learners on Monday as gazetted. And after deliberations yesterday, it was agreed that we were in a position to do so. What we are going to do, rather, is to allow only 3 grades to go to school so that we are able to manage the numbers and see how it goes as we continue with the phased approach of the return of learners back to school.
Well, before we take a quick break that we need to fit in here, Mr. Mhlanga, can you just give us a sense of the numbers as it pertains to schools? Because every other day we hear of schools shutting down. So as it pertains to the infection rate in schools, are you able to give us some numbers there?
Yeah, at the last count, we had about 800 schools which had been closed and reopened. And every day the numbers change because the schools are not closed for 14 days or for 2 weeks. It's only about 3 days or 4 days to allow for the disinfection to happen. And once that has been done, learners and teachers and employees go back to work. And we have seen that happening in almost all the schools which had confirmed cases of COVID-19. So that's how it's been going. The numbers are up and down because a school which was closed last week, it would have reopened this week. And a school that I know, for example, yesterday closed down for disinfection today, and on Monday they are going back to work. So that's how it has been. And we think that it will continue to be the case. But what we appeal for people to do is to comply with the standard operating procedures to make sure that they follow the guidelines on how to manage these cases.
And so schools have reopened. Have there been any fatalities reported?
That is something that the Department of Health will tell us about because we don't record such. We record confirmed cases in schools. Fatalities, it's something that the Department of Health would be able to assist with because it is them who manage that part of the work.
Sure, but what I'm asking, Mr. Mhlanga, is have any teachers or learners or support staff in schools, have you been notified of any deaths across the country?
I'm aware of the Eastern Cape where they reported some people, I think teachers and I think admin staff as well, who contracted the virus and eventually, unfortunately, passed away. And the cases there have been recorded as such. I'm not aware of any such incidents in other provinces.
Right, let's take a quick break and then we come back and continue this conversation. Panel assembled this morning so that we can look at some of the matters that you are concerned about regarding the return of learners to school at a time when the country is dealing with a spike in infections as a result of COVID-19. And we'll continue after this.